Hey, what's up? It's Sean with Effective English. Today's version is more on the higher end. So this is what I do as a non-native English speaker, but who lives in the States, and I do a real estate business, and I like to improve my English for my work. Not only that, but to be able to just get better at English. So this is not for beginners. But you can still watch. You can still learn some things that you can use in your level. But yeah, I've been just quick background. I've been living in the States for a little bit over 20 years. I moved here when I was mid 20s. I wasn't able to speak English that well, and now I'm basically selling real estate. Selling, like negotiating over the phone. It's not an easy thing at first, but you get to the point where you get the key points and you can actually get the job done really well. So this is one thing that I do. I was doing this, and then I thought maybe I should just share this with you guys for those who are, sort of, so who you can think and communicate effectively, but you want to take it to the next level. So this is what I do to take it to the next level whenever I can. If you have any other thoughts or ideas, please share with me. I'd love to hear from you. So this is basically to improve my English fluency, thinking process, and expanding knowledge. All you can do all at the same time with this. So the guy that I follow quite a bit is Seth Godin. I think you should be able to see on the website on the left side. What he does for me is that he basically makes very concise communication and help me to ask more important questions. Because I think when you asked right questions, things are going to be much better. I'm not sure if it was Seth or if it was Tim Ferriss, but um, the guy who I'm going to butcher this story. The right leaders is gonna be the one. Um, so yeah, the right leader is one who can go at the top of the tree or at the highest point that he can go and say, "Oh, we're in the wrong forest." That is the right leader asking the right kind of questions. So that's the one reason why I like to follow Seth and Tim Ferriss and some of those guys. But so here's the going back to the English improvement here. So what I do is I'm going to move my thing to. I basically pull out what he sends out. He sends out pretty much daily, and there's some really good thought, provoking ideas and questions. So what I do is I basically read out loud. Number one, read out loud, and work on understanding of the writing at the same time. And let's see. And then when I see like the words that I don't know, or when I don't understand, I look up that word right there, and then and I'll show it to you just in a bit. And then I try to work on those words that I just learned into my daily living and work situation. Obviously, I need to understand it well in order to use it in the daily situation. So I kind of try to focus in on that angle. How can I use this word or this thinking process or something that you have to explain in like 5 sentences? Can I just use one word for the efficiency? That kind of things kind of excites me. So if you don't feel like you're at this level, don't be discouraged. You can just find the other guys, other articles who that are at like a similar level. If you can understand about 50% of the article, I would highly recommend you working on it, just like I'm going to show you shortly. Let's see. So yeah, let's go ahead and show you what I do. Um, so I just basically read out loud. The couple things in the beginning that I focus on is I try to exaggerate the words. So I open my mouth as much as I can because some of our Asian, immigrants like myself, we tend to talk like this because this is how we were taught. We were taught to talk because if you show your teeth, you're like rude, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, so here we go. Uh, Reading in front of camera is like probably like first time, so I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, but this is what I try to do by myself. And when does it get boring? Almost no one who takes an intro to economics course becomes an economist. One reason might be that within a few days of starting the class, it becomes abstract, formula based, and dull. Let's keep going. There's no, I understood everything as I read. The same, here's a word that I don't know. ENNUI kicks in for having to memorize things in chemistry or world history. So what I do right here, that's a great example. Ennui? I'm not sure. Let's go dictionary. Okay, ennui is a feeling of being tired, bored, and dissatisfied. One really important reminder here for you is never to look up the words in your native tongue dictionary. Don't do a translation. I'm sure a lot of you know that already, but this phone dictionary doesn't show how to this phone dictionary doesn't show how to pronounce the word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out. I'm going to do the web search and see what comes up. Something like the Merriam-Webster. They do have the sound. Oh, since I have the microphone, it's not going to play. So hold on one sec. It's pulling up the word, but if I click this button right here, it should play, but because I connected the external microphone, it's not going to play. So I'm going to just look up here on my iPad. Hold one sec. Merriam-Webster, here we go.
Ennui.
Not ennui, it's ennui. How do I go back? Shoot. The funny cat picture is popping up. Ennui. Did I say it right? Let's go back to that. How do I? Here we go. So let's hear this one more time.
Ennui.
Ennui. Ennui. So on kind of like Enrique. Ennui. Ennui. So you and I. So this is how I remember. I try to remember, the pronunciation. Ennui. Try to make sense of the words or the sound that I know, and can I, associate with some of the similar, spelling words that have similar sounding. So this one is a very unique one for me. It may take a while, but the next time I see it, I'll probably wouldn't say ennui. So ennui, a feeling of weariness and dissatisfaction, boredom. So it's very, different than the dictionary on the phone. So a feeling of weariness and dissatisfaction, very dissatisfied. So let's go back. So let's see if I can understand from the sentence itself. The same ennui kicks in. So yeah, same dissatisfaction kicks in. I get that. Same ennui kicks in. So I just basically repeat this, right? Same ennui. Now, if I use this word in regular conversation English, even I say it in the perfect sentence or the situation, I don't know if the other person, the native person in the States, will understand what I mean. Maybe I'm like, underestimating native speakers here, but ennui, ennui. I mean, this is more like a literature level word, in my opinion, but I could be completely wrong. Let me know. I mean, if you think that this is not a difficult word, but well, this is the first time I've seen living in the States for 20 years, 22. So the same ennui kicks in for having to memorize things in chemistry or world history. I got that sentence, right? Let's do one more. We don't have these fields because we need to employ professors. We have them because they give us a chance to understand and to figure things out. I haven't been exaggerating. Let's go back. Once you are enrolled in the journey of discovery, decoding a formula or engaging with taxonomy becomes urgent, not merely an assigned task. So here's another word, taxonomy. I'm not familiar with this word. So before I look up, I'm going to read the sentence one more time and see if I can understand without looking up the word, see what the writer is intending in the whole, paragraph. We don't have these fields. What fields? Oh yeah. The economy, the kicks into history. We don't have these fields because we need to employ professors. Almost no one who takes an intro to economic class become an economist. Abstract formula based all. Well, the first paragraph I understand. Second paragraph I can understand now. So the third, we don't have these fields. Oh, the fields that after you take an intro economics class, becoming economist, because I guess what he's trying to say is when you try to memorize dull things and formulas and all of that, they don't become economist. And that's why I think what he's saying is we don't have these fields because we need to employ professors. There's some sarcasm I'm sensing. Anyways, let's read. We have them. Oh yeah, there's no sarcasm. He's just making a fact. We have them because they give us a chance to understand and to figure things out. Once you are enrolled in the journey of discovery, decoding a formula or engaging with taxonomy becomes urgent, not merely an assigned task. Once you're enrolled in the right there. Once you're oops, how do I do this? Sorry. Oh yeah, here we go. Once you're enrolled in the journey of discovery, I like that. Once you're in journey of discovery, decoding a formula or engaging with a taxonomy. I think the taxonomy meaning like a list of things, you basically memorize things. We'll look that up, but becomes urgent, not merely an assigned task. I think what he's trying to say is once your mindset is like, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to discover something, decoding a formula or engaging with the taxonomy becomes urgent and not merely an assigned task. I still 100% not sure what he's saying because a testing regime is in place. Particularly now, so many other tropes in the education industrial complex are disrupted. the textbook authors and administrators work together to keep fluff and go straight to the stuff that's easy to test. Well, man, I have to say this one is probably the harder one that I picked. Normally, this isn't this hard, but I'm basically going to look it all over. I don't want to bore you by me like reading and try to understand this very complicated, complex thinking process of writing of Seth. Uh, I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and I don't want to bore you, but this is what I do to improve my English fluency, basically. So look up the word, find a way to understand that word inside of the paragraph or sentence, and then let's say I go through everything, and then obviously watching, the TEDx talk, it's obvious one. See if I can actually combine what I've read and what he's talking in the video, and probably it will make a lot more sense. But after reading this, oh, I think yeah. Let's see. So basically, at the end, that's not how passion is discovered or nurtured. No one becomes a baseball fan because they read the baseball textbook and did well on the baseball test. I think his key point is that the education should not be, encouraging very talented at a young age, let's say like 80-year-old soccer kid who is, grown much bigger than the other kids. Obviously, the kid is going to dominate until like the other boys grow up and catch up. But our education shouldn't be just relying on or focus on like nurturing those top kids, where the smaller kids give them similar opportunities so that they can learn to become more more flexible. The thought of, because this real world isn't really like everybody catches up, right? So let's say if you're a basketball player, what's that? Let's say you're a basketball player. Let's say you're Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was probably like 6'4". There's tons of 6'8s, but Michael Jordan was special because he worked so hard. What he's saying is that let's not just give talented kids shine during the education process, but help kids who are having who is not giving up. I think he wrote that, who's not giving up, give them chance to play in the basketball team, this and that. In fact, I think Michael Jordan, I read it somewhere or maybe I watched the YouTube. In the high school team, he wasn't a superstar. I mean, he became superstar, I believe, because he worked so hard. So it kind of goes with what he's saying. But anyways, so now this is one part that I wanted to show you how I expand my thinking process in English way. If I were to try to translate this into my native language, which is Korean, it would be so complicated. Going back and forth, back and forth. That's why I stayed in the English brain side. I don't translate back to Korean and come back, because I used to do that when I first started, speaking English. But that has to stop if you're still doing it. If you are still here after about what, 10, 15 minutes of video, that means you understand me. Means you probably don't do that. But if you do, get out of there. So let's wrap this up. I know this is kind of getting long, but so going back and to summarize, so this is what I do. Basically, read out loud and work on understanding on the writing at the same time. Comprehension and reading out loud at the same time, and that kind of connects with your verbal skill and your brain thinking skill. Kind of, you can, so at one point you have some things to talk about. You are going to be able to squeeze out or structure the thoughts, and should be able to articulate. I love that word. So structure your thoughts and articulate into speaking, right? Um, and it's more fun because I like these kind of guys. Like some people call them the thought leader or life coach. I'm not sure. Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss, Seth Godin. This guy Kevin Rose. I like it too. And then I basically when I see the words that I don't understand, the word or in the sentence, I look them up and I try to kind of repeat and use it in my head and try to find a way to use that. And then I try to use those words in the daily work and daily life. Now, one other thing that I try to do is I try to question their thinking process or their key points, because their thought leader doesn't mean I have to believe everything that they're saying. And I think this is where sort of like what's the word? More of a creative, more of a questioning, more of a critical thinking comes in. Critical thinking, that's what I was looking for. So I basically question Seth Godin's thoughts. Well, but in my head, I was in reality, if you're a high school, you know, if you're a high school basketball coach, you want to win the match because you're hired to win the match. So that's where it needs to change. The basketball coaches need to be hired to nurture more of the key kids rather than try to win the match. So that's the motivation part that I believe, like, no matter what it is, I try to see where people are coming with what kind of motivation. Do they want to just make money off of me, or do they want to really help me and make the money at the same time? And there's a big difference in my opinion. So I guess so. I basically question Seth Godin's, writing. Yeah, but in reality, yeah, I get it. But then I have to go back and say, well, then the basketball coaches need to be hired to not just win. They can lose all the time, and still nurture more kids. But then so that's where dilemma is, I think. So do you see what I just did? I basically question uh, the people who I follow. That gives me more, dimension of, like, I feel like expanding my brain, expand it, can make the brain bigger, or thinking more, critically. So yeah, that's what I do. I hope this helps you to keep improving your English, because it can become fun at this. As I mean, let me put it this way: I've had a lot of fun with doing this. It makes me feel like learn something new. It improves my English. When I improve my English, I do better in writing or thinking, or in my business, communicating with other people, connecting with other people, sharing good thoughts with other people. So there's like probably, I already like listed 8 different things. So I think that's why I think it's fun, and I hope you find the same sort of like a motivation, have fun with it. So I'd love to hear from you what you do to improve your English as a ESL, and like, subscribe, and hope to see you next video. By the way, if you're a beginner or mid-level English speaker and you're still here, thanks so much for watching, and you will get there. I know you will get there, because when I first started English, when I first came here, I used to work at a grocery store, and I would get so nervous because I'm like, please don't ask me any questions because I don't know how to put a sentence together. So somebody will tap on my back and say, I was in the produce department. Go, hey, where's broccoli? I'm like, I would like, oh, broccoli, here's here. Yeah. I probably did this without even saying any words right there, or maybe I don't know. Anyways, my main job was like putting out the produce every morning, and this and that. I mean, I did it for several months. It didn't last for more than that, but that's who I was. So I know everyone watching this video this far should be able to improve your English as far as you can, because you have the patience, you have the learning to desire. I'm going to list a bunch of stuff, but anyways, thanks for watching, and have fun. See ya.